Hey guys, it's Mark and Rachel here to talk to you a little bit today about our safe house. That's going to be our focus of our content this week. And so the safe house, just to dive right in and let y'all know what that's about, is it's something we set up when we notice the desperate need for drug addicts as they're heading into recovery. They often go to a program and they'll put in an application, and unless they have, $15, $20, $30,000 where they go to one of these swank places, they're typically going to a free place, and there's a waiting list, and so they'll be told that there's a 2 to 4 week waiting list, something like that, maybe 6 weeks, and so then what are they supposed to do in the meantime? We've seen so many of them on that waiting list period. The recovery program will oftentimes tell them to check back in, make sure they're serious about it, but they just kind of fall to the wayside. They have to go back to the living situation that they were in, and surrounded by the same people, same environment, and usually that doesn't work out. We had a staff member of a recovery center tell us that about 65% of the people, this was a men's recovery program that applied at their program, never made it. And so you can imagine why. You're serious about it, you want the recovery, you put in the application, and you want it that day. You're told to wait 4 or 6 weeks. It's not the program's fault, they're full. And then it's just so easy to get sucked back in to the lifestyle you were living. And so we developed what we called our safe house, and we have one, and it's set up as a place where they can stay. There's structure surrounding that. There's people that are good influences that stay with them during that time. There's things that they're expected to do, work, seeing counselors, exercising, things to keep them busy so they're not just sitting around. And so sometimes you've seen us in some of our posts, and I'm not going to ramble the whole time, getting to Rachel here. We've seen us refer to, like, we've used our safe house model. That's usually when we say that, what we mean is that our safe house that we have, the one that we have, is full. And so we've had to go and kind of piecemeal that together. And usually that ends up with ladies being falling on Rachel's shoulders, and so she's stayed with ladies in hotel rooms, and she has brought them into her home. And so I'm going to shut up and ask Rachel to share a little bit about what that experience has been like when she's had someone that's dealing with a drug addiction, that's has that initial desire to get clean. What's it like bringing them, either staying with them wherever they are, or bringing them into your home? What's that experience been like?
Yeah, it's been a really, really cool one, actually. Something that I felt the Lord really has given me the opportunity to walk with these women that have been in situations that are so far than what I can even imagine. So I've done it quite a few different times, and they can go really well and they can go really poorly. The really poorly situation would be if someone just left in the middle of that time that she was staying, and that has happened. And there's times that it's gone incredibly well, and they go to the rehab and then they've left the rehab. But there's I would say majority of the times that I've done it, it's been pretty successful. The hardest part, I would say, is that a lot of these women, they've been on drugs for a long time now. A majority of them have children, at least one, and so that's a really big struggle for them, and also a really big, a point where they desire it even more to get clean when you do have kids that are waiting on you to get out. I would say the most interesting part is that if y'all have heard the, not the statistic, but the, anyways, that if you've experienced a traumatic experience, that your brain sometimes stops growing and developing past that point. And so for a lot of these women, when they started using drugs, some at 13, some at 18, that's kind of what they're still functioning as. So when I've had these girls come and stay with me, some of them are functioning as a 13-year-old, which means that, I wake them up in the morning, I make breakfast for them in the morning, and a lot of them are going through physical withdrawal symptoms. So they have those, not just where your mind and where you're craving them, but where you're actually physically ill. You're suffering from flu-like symptoms, throwing up, all of that stuff. And so during those times, we do give them that space and that time to basically suffer through that. But then after that, it's coming up with schedules for them, rides for them, getting them to counseling, work, putting them around people that are good for them and healthy for them to be around, and giving them a chance to develop those relationships with people that can come and visit them while they're in recovery, but then also can be there for them when they get out. That's been the coolest part, to have people come alongside me understanding that I'm not their only relationship, and neither are Mark and Jim. We have other women just that are walking with these people that really want to encourage them and be with them and help them through this process, and being able to like see those relationships grow and to see how much like love and care that these women can get that they've probably never received before in a healthy, good environment. It's been really cool, and I think that's probably been the most beneficial part of having a women's safe house and a place that we can do this, is just having people that can surround these women in these really difficult and trying times.
Cool. One thing I'd say, just kind of putting a bow on that, is I remember one cool story, I guess, is one of the guys, I think it was the first time we had done this, first guy moved in the safe house. He was going to dinner with some guys that we know, and he was going to dinner with them. I mean, like at the Jimmy John's in Southside, hanging out, and through the door, of course, just happens to walk his heroin dealer, and walked up to him, and the guy asked him to, if he wanted anything, and just because he was around guys that were investing in him and part of the safe house, those good influences, he was able to turn that down, keep moving forward, and ended up going to recovery and finishing the program. So that's really cool. And I think another good thing, just with what Rachel's talking about, obviously the goal of the safe house is to help get them going to recovery in the healthiest way possible, so they're not using right up until that time, but they kind of go in on an upswing. But also it gives them a little bit of a hope and a light at the end of the tunnel, that they see that there's good people, good relationships, and that they're not alone. And so when they come out and they graduate, they're not going to be left by themselves. And so it serves as an encouragement to them. And so just to wrap up, we're going to be talking more about the safe house, some of the things that we do, kind of hit big picture right now. But obviously, when we say we have to use our safe house model, Rachel brings them into her home, or we have to do a hotel. That's the reason we need more. We need more, another safe house, and down the road we'd love to have multiple ones. We've turned people away. We've not had anyone able to pull that off at times, and so we need more safe houses. So that's part of the 110 journey, is just to raise money to help us fund the one we have, which would in turn help give us the freedom to go pursue and get more of them. And so if y'all would prayerfully consider giving to the 110 journey. Safe House is one of the 4 initiatives, along with the Compound, the Jobs Program, and Haven House. You can look back at previous content to learn more about the Compound and just the whole idea behind this 110 journey. You can check it out at urbanpurpose.org/110. Thank you guys for tuning in and paying attention, and we will see you tomorrow. Rachel's actually off to Italy tomorrow, so that's pretty jealous. So she might go live from Italy, which would be pretty cool. And so she might talk to us about what we're doing from Italy. But yeah, check out urbanpurpose.org/110. Appreciate you guys.